All right, let's go. We're on Kagurabachi chapter 72. We start off with Samura and Yura face to face literally after Samura's ex-wife's passing. Yura starts telling Samura about the Seitei War and everything that happened, and basically how the citizens of that small country were some bloodthirsty savages and they were resistant to the Dakinseki. Then Yura goes on about the story that everybody knows about the heroes in the Enchanted Blades, on how they defeated the citizens of the small country, and thanks to the heroes that every last one of them were wiped out. And that's the story that the public knows, but that's not the truth. And Yura starts telling him about the story that the public doesn't know. When the Shinichi emerged, it turned the tables on the enemy. They waged a powerful counteroffensive, rapidly driving them back. The heroes encroached into the enemy's territory, and at this point, the end of the war was in sight. Eventually, the enemy of the small country threw in the white flag and surrendered. The royal family that led the invasion, they were disposed and they chose to surrender in order to prevent further casualties, and then they signed a peace treaty. And for a time, there was peace that was going on. But then the Swordmaster, he pretty much went insane and went crazy, and he just wanted to annihilate all of them. Yura states the strongest of the enchanted blades responded. The true realm of an enchanted blade conforms to its master, and it's called malediction. And the abilities that the Swordmaster evoked were a force of pure obliteration. So pretty much it caused a calamity, and it killed about 200,000 people, which is crazy. It took the other 5 sword bearers to take down the Swordmaster. They had to imprison him, and that was the only way to stop him and separate him from the Shinichi blade. But the truth is, the Swordmaster is the worst murderer who's ever lived. But this country, they enshrined the Swordmaster as a hero who defeated an evil enemy, when in reality, that's not really what was the case. Then Yura tells Samura that another calamity is going to happen, and it's going to be known as malediction, and it will happen in the near future, and it will happen in this country. Samura goes to the Kabanabi and meets up with one of the leaders, and tells him about all the information that the Hishaku leader told him, that if the Swordmaster and the Shinichi come in close contact, or come in contact again, then a calamity could occur. And even one of the Kabanabi members says, but so as long as the Swordmaster and the Shinichi remain in this world, that possibility exists. To extinguish it completely, we would have to execute the Swordmaster. But the bad part about that, if the Swordmaster dies, then all the 5 other sword bearers die, because there's an eternal contract. Swordmaster, he's pretty much the core, so he's pretty much the middle right there. And all the other sword bearers, they're like links to the core. So if he dies, then they all die, which is pretty wild. The Kabanabi leader then tells Samura that as long as the Swordmaster and the Shinichi are sealed and isolated, then there's no concern, and we don't need to sacrifice your lives for such a slim possibility. Then it takes us back to Samura's daughter, and she's sparring with another person within the dojo. The people in the dojo are impressed by her skills, because she fights kind of like Samura. Closing her eyes eliminates extraneous thoughts. She can quietly concentrate and focus on the wielding of her sword, and that's something that Samura does. He's blind, he fights without seeing, he senses where the enemy is, and she can do something that's kind of similar to that. And the last panel is pretty much his daughter just telling him she's going to be the best fighter ever, and that she'll protect him. And Mr. Samura